Welcome back to another Canon review on the Boom Bust channel. I'm your host Terry, and today reviewing Anniversary, starring Diane Lane and Kyle Chandler. Diane Lane was also executive producer on this. So this was a movie that I was looking forward to. And well, I wouldn't even say look forward to. I found out about it last week, and once I found out about it, I was looking forward to it, just because of the premise, and then also it got pretty good reviews. Now I haven't heard about it at all in the Oscar talk, so that kind of made me question some things. Then I end up going today because this is the last day for my area where it's going to be in theaters. A lot of new movies opening up, some bigger pictures and a lot of smaller pictures too. So I had to suck it up and go, because streaming's getting back to where it was, where things aren't coming out like 2 weeks later. So I don't know when this was going to come out, so I decided to go check it out. And man, look, so well, I guess if you don't know, because I'm do spoilers, I don't do like non-spoilers. So, but in case you just don't know and you haven't seen it, it's a very simple plot for the most part. We start with the anniversary of a couple where all their family, their kids come back. Their son has a new girlfriend who was a former student of Diane Lane, and things ended very badly where the girl ended up leaving school. And so we kind of go from there. Now she leaves school because she wrote a thesis that was just so outlandish, and people really like ostracized her for it. So there's that. Look, man, it's especially coming out in a really interesting time, not only in regular life, but in the movie world, where, again, I try to remind people these movies were, in the works years ago, but just so happened that as we are going through a very messed up political time, we get movies like One Battle After Another. We get movies like After the Hunt, which I know hasn't been received well, but I liked it. We get movies like Begonia, and you get these movies that are having a very strong political message, or at least commentary, I should say, about politics and the dangers of how things can go. And so then this movie tucks in right with them, and I just think it's an interesting dialogue that organically starts happening, which of course is why we love the arts. But in terms of this movie, it really sharpened why, because like One Battle After Another and Begonia, I still, even after The Hunt, I don't quite know how much I liked it, but I knew it was like a well-made movie, and this really crystallized that for me, because I thought this movie was mishandled, and I thought it was pretty sloppy in terms of the filmmaking. Now the performances, honestly, I think they're fine. I think McKenna Grace is wasted. I haven't seen her since her debut, or I believe her debut, Gifted, which is in my top 3 of all time. And so knowing what she can do, seeing her all these years later, and they give her such a kind of, I won't even say bland character. There's enough there, but they never explore anything for her to do. And I feel that way about everybody, and I feel that way about the whole movie. So between the storylines and the characters, there's so much going on that you get a little sprinkle of everything, but you never dive into any one thing. And we see that happen many times with movies. It's a common mistake, especially with an ensemble cast. And ensemble casts are tricky. I love them, but you gotta either look at the story, because you got so many characters, or we have to really walk through the shoes of one character and see how they're being impacted by everything. And this movie doesn't do either of those. So Diane Lane is essentially the character we're watching this through her prism, but we don't dive into her either. Like, everything about her is just, I don't agree with this. I think this could be dangerous, and that's really it. And I don't like I don't like it. And that was it. And the story itself, so okay, if we're not going to focus on the character, then you got to focus on the story. I'm thinking like a Ocean's 11. I'm thinking I just had a movie in my head, I'm blanking, but where that is about the actual plot going on. And so the plot is interesting enough and see how these characters fit into it. But in this, they don't dive into the plot. The plot is about this girl who eventually puts out this book with the Sun, and it catches on, spreads like wildfire, and starts impacting the politics and the political landscape of the country. But it doesn't tell you how. Like, you get, and usually you're like, hey, don't spoon feed us or whatever kind of show don't tell. But in this case, it doesn't really work because they don't give us anything. Like, yeah, you don't tell us exactly what the law is and what is happening, but you see certain things with the drones. You hear about the curfew. You see the people from the census coming in. So like, they show you with some visuals, which isn't bad, but the problem is they don't ever tell you what her position is in terms of the girl that wrote the book. They don't tell you why she believes in that or how she got there or even anything. The only thing they tell you is that she does not like Diane Lane. And that's all we get. And so then it comes a very superficial story because we have no investment. We have no background into anything. Like, again, if you leave the world vague, like, hey, this is where the story takes place, the world is not important, then you have to give us more richness with the characters, and they don't. So they fail at both. At least that's the way when I look at a movie. I'm like, because unless you got a crazy long movie, you got to pick a lane in which way you want to go. And I just feel like they didn't pick either. So we get a bunch of characters just doing stuff. We have a bunch of time skips. And again, they do a decent job showing you some of the visuals, but we don't get enough meat on the bone of like what's going on here so that we can feel sympathetic to how their life is being impacted. It goes for a very superficial route of, hey, this daughter was attacked, now she's missing, trying to be censored. Hey, these people left. Hey, these people attack people or threw some paint on the wall. Like, isn't this bad? Like, yes, we know it's bad, but that's not enough to get you invested into a movie or into the characters just because bad things are happening. But it's kind of like a big fight or a big explosion, a big action piece that has nothing to do with the story. Like, yeah, that's well done, or yeah, that's cool, but narratively is not helping anything. So it's just like, hey, these bad things are happening, you should feel bad because these are bad things, not because you should feel bad because you're sympathizing with what the character's going through. We don't know exactly what they're going through other than like the overt things happening to them. So I just felt like it just, again, it kind of dropped the ball on that. Typically, like, I try to connect these to food dishes. I know it's fat, but like, this is a movie that had good ingredients. I think flavors that could pair well together, not naturally, but could pair well together, and it takes some skill to pull it off. And this chef just did not pull the ingredients together and fully cook this through and think this recipe through. So it kind of tastes all over the place. That's how I felt about this movie. And again, it's timely commentary, and that interests you to a certain point, but then eventually you're just like, okay, what why? I guess that's like, we know what happens, but why? There's no why behind this movie. And I don't know if the thought was, hey, we're just going to be thought provoking, like, hey, what if this happened to you, or what if this was the world we live in? That's just shocking enough. But when there's no why, it doesn't feel real. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Things just happen. And again, you can have a movie where, hey, we're not going to give you all the background of why the world is like this. This is just the world, and this is the setting. But when you do a movie like that, that's when you lean into the characters, and they didn't do that. Like, honestly, like, when I think about it, it's kind of frustrating, because you have the one daughter who's a lawyer, and their relationship is just strained for no apparent reason. She, like, hates this man for no reason eventually. And then like, their big scene, she's just like, she doesn't know who she is and all this stuff, and it's like, where's that coming from? Like, we have no, like, background on where this is. What does that even mean? Like, when we meet her, she seemed fine. Like, there was nothing hinting, or like, we don't learn anything to say that, hey, she's not happy with her life. We don't see that. The only thing we see is like, hey, I'm not sure I want to bring a kid into this world. And honestly, you could have just focused on that. They turned it into, I'm depressed and all these other, like, I don't know who I am. It's like, wait, where's that coming from? Like, you're an environmental lawyer. Like, the dad is a chef and the mom is a professor, assuming, about politics or something. Like, there was no pressure to follow in anyone's footsteps to be an environmental lawyer. So what do you mean you feel like you're trapped in, like, somebody else's life, or like, that was just out of nowhere. And then we got the comedian sister, who's a stand-up comedian, and, like, I don't know, even when she was doing her maybe that was a commentary, but even when she was doing her comedy, it was just a little unbelievable. I'm like, she's not even telling jokes. Like, she's just almost like she's doing a lecture. But then, like, all these people go crazy, and then we don't even understand what happened. Like, people ran on stage, they took them off, and the next day was like, oh, she got 36 stitches. Like, from what? And then we see her, she's swimming away. Like, I guess it's implied they try to arrest her, but for what? Like, we don't know the laws, we don't know the rules, there's not enough detail there. And she's, I guess, hey, I'm a stand-up comedian, so I'm all, about fight the power, I guess. Okay. Okay. That, we didn't get much about her. And then, Birdie, like I said, her character, they handled her kind of very weird. Like, she was so silent about everything for no reason. Like, everything they showed us indicated like she would be on her mom's side, but she never played it that way. She never really spoke up. Like, I don't know. I don't know what direction they were trying to go her. And then ultimately she, infiltrated the system to blow, to be a radical, which I saw coming from a mile away, but still, I just feel like her scenes were just awkward. And then you got the son, who is the worst of all. Like, why? Like, what in the world made him go that deep? I have no clue. And the movie gives you no clue. Like, he has a loving family. He was being supported by his parents. Like, the dad was great. He gave him no issues. They talk a little bit about him wanting to be successful, feeling a little jealous of his sisters, but to the point he would have his sister try, like, black bag and kill her. What are we talking about? And it just, like, and I guess he had a good performance as a douche, but again, you don't understand why. And so he progressively gets worse and worse, and it's like, what is your problem, dude? Like, what happened to push you there? Then, yeah, so that's the kids. and it's just like, okay, I guess. And then the main girl, who isn't even in there that much, but like I said before, we have no idea, other than her motivations to get revenge. We have no idea, like, why, how, what. I couldn't even explain to you what she believes in, other than, hey, we got to be all united. Like, what exactly does that mean? Now we see it plays out and it becomes, kind of an oppressive system, but we don't even know what she's like trying, like what she believes, what she's trying to push. It doesn't make any sense. Well, I wouldn't say it makes no sense. They just don't tell us. And then at the end, I don't even understand what they were trying to do at the end. Like, they made it seem like the husband, like the son, had become a monster, and she's like, I didn't mean for all this. This is getting too out of control. But then at the end, they just turn on him for no reason, randomly, the police people, and it just looked like they was setting them up, or not setting them up. It looked like they knew that was coming. Then they listened to the main girl. She says, take him away. Then she's like half crying. Then she starts smiling at the family picture. Makes zero sense. So, no, despite what you see in the movie, it ends with, I'm supposed to believe that this dude has such issues with his family that didn't really do anything wrong to him, to the point he was okay with essentially murdering them, or pushing them to murder, or watching them be tortured and have their life torn apart. And either he became such a douchebag that she wanted to leave him, but if she had that much power, why wouldn't she have him black bagged like anytime? Why wouldn't she have him just disappeared? Why would she just kill him herself? Like, I don't, that doesn't make sense to me. Maybe you could say she wanted the family to see him become a total douchebag, but even then, like, they make it seem very apparent that he's treating her like crap. So, okay, you could have dealt with him at any point if you got that much power. And even if you excuse all that, you want me to believe that somebody who was embarrassed or had a fight or anything with a professor, to which you chose to leave, went to the lengths of changing the entire country just to torment this one person and get back at him. It's far-fetched. I just think the movie's a little too over the top in terms of some of that stuff. I think a lot of the decisions the characters made were not logical. Good cast, interesting premise, but overall just did not play well. I would have to give this movie like a 68. Like, I could not get it to see. This is a D+ for me. So anyway, that's it for me. Go to the comment section, let me know what you think, share it around, the conversation started, thumbs up, subscribe, and thank you for listening.